like, okay, well, what do you mean? Did you see God? Did you feel God? Did you put something out there? And honestly, man, like I'd love for you to sort of share like what is what was that how when you share such a powerful statement, how did you put that out there for you to feel like there is a higher power from your perspective? And we don't normally talk about um, religion per se on
Right,
the
right.
podcast, but I mean, why not? I find for everyone out there,
Yeah,
God is what they believe, how they
right, right.
believe it is to them.
Hmm.
And I just, when you share such a powerful statement through what you've gone through, where you felt like you finally, in a sense, found God going through the motions of rehabilitating. What was that like for you? What, was it like a one night thing? Was it like, you know what, let's channel this in? I'm just curious to know when you respectfully say it with so much confidence, what that felt like.
I mean, it's the catalyst to where I am now. You know, when it comes to the faith as a kid, I had believed and I had stopped believing the moment I had lost hope. And I lived my entire life until recently that way. And I was able to regain my faith. And I know what my life looks like without faith. Faith is what keeps me going. It's actually, we do a lot of, there's the day in and day out of what we do, with our project and the money spent and all those things. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have faith. I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have that moment that I needed to change. If I could describe it, it was intense. In that moment, I knew that I wanted to live. When I had been having suicidal thoughts for, going through that deep depression and like wondering if today's the day that I'm going to kill myself, the self-talk like was evil. Stop being a coward, just do it. Just kill yourself. Man, I'm not the smartest guy, but to me that sounds evil. And going through that, like I needed to go to God. I needed to go to something bigger than myself. And the mechanics of that are dynamically complex when we're talking about the spirit and the soul. I guess the thing that gets us closest to it is quantum physics, right? We have no clue as far as the regular person. And I really think that it's a positioning of your heart for that change to happen. When you have an experience with God, it's like it's something that you long for with the deepest part of your being that you really want to change. And for me, it was more intense because I was in an intense spot. I would like my depression was unreal for me, at least, because I had never experienced something so debilitating, especially to someone like me who's like, I'm a fighter, I'm this, I'm that, and like every day, man, I'm just fighting to live. And I was like, if this is going to be life every day, like I have to fight to live every day, I can't do it. So, when I cried out to God, I cried out with everything I had. And I think that's why I got that metaphysical, that spiritual experience. You know, my back was against the wall. There was no other way. There was no way, no amount of therapy, no amount of self-help books, no amount of this, no amount of rah, rah, rah. Like something in the very core of my heart had to change. And like we talked about foundational thought processes that had to change. And it did, it shattered. And I was able to build brand new with being able to look in the back and learn. And I have the advantage of living com- 2 completely different lives, and it's terrifying sometimes. But The way I was living before terrifies me more than the unknown of the future that I live in now, because now I live in the hope of the future and what can be. Before I lived in, this is just what it is. And now I live in, you know, in a whole different mindset. And man, that lets me know, for me personally, that God is real. And that's just for me and my story. And I will never deny that fact, because if I didn't have that moment, there's no question I wouldn't be here talking to you right now.